are getting pulled into the Epstein matter to divert attention from you and that your administration has something to hide. What's your response to that?
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated.
2017 email to former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, Epstein writing, quote, I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body, so yes, dangerous.
Ja, god morgon och välkommen till en förinspelad frukostklubb. Ja, jag bytte ut introt här och Trump säger ju att han är helt rentvådd och jag hade ingenting att göra ihop med Jeffrey Epstein. Nej, de var bara bästa kompisar i ungefär 15 år så att det kan vi glömma. Nu ska vi fortsätta med en video ifrån kanalen Redacted och Thomas Massie som är en av de ärligaste politikerna i USA. Jag skulle faktiskt vilja se honom som nästa president. Men han har börjat nämna lite namn här och säger att det är dags att börja sätta folk, alltså att låsa in människor och att de ska få betala för vad de har gjort. Här kommer den videon.
Holy smokes. Congressman Massey just went scorched earth on the floor of the House of Representatives, furious at the Department of Justice for their collusion in hiding the names of the co-conspirators and those people that need to be investigated. And he said, I'm going to name names. This is unbelievable. Let's watch.
Congress created the Department of Justice. Congress funds the Department of Justice. And Congress is responsible for the oversight of the Department of Justice. When will we see justice? I'll tell you what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations in the Epstein files, over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things. Much of it redacted.
Oh, I'm sorry, Congressman, but maybe you haven't heard of the arrests in Norway. I'm sorry, Congressman. Maybe haven't you heard about the arrests and then release in the UK? Isn't Norway good enough for you? I know you're an American, but I see. You want Americans to be arrested. You want the pedophile network of billionaires, sick pieces of garbage, to be arrested in the United States for torturing and killing young children. Oh, you want that to happen in the United States. I see. I just want to be clear.
Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide. But I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Department of Justice. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, who has since been stripped of his royal titles due to his affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, has been arrested. Peter Mandelson, who previously served as UK's ambassador to the United States, resigned in disgrace from United Kingdom's House of Lords and the Labour Party, and he's been arrested. Former Prime Minister of Norway, Torbjørn Jagland, has been charged. But we don't see any charges, arrests, or investigations in the United States. What do we see? We see our FBI director celebrating in the locker room at the Olympics overseas. It's fine to be proud of this country. But
that was important work, Congressman. It was important work. He had to go to Italy and pretend that he's doing the FBI's work. Yeah, no arrests in the United States. Vital work to the United States of America. Make sure you go to the Olympic hockey game.
We should be proud of.
By the way, to the charge of looks like it's upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars to the United States taxpayer to go to that game.
This country because we have a system of justice that works. And yet we do not. Who are the men that should be investigated? I'll name them right here. Leon Black.
Whoa.
You don't even have to see past the redactions to see that this man needs to be investigated. Jess Staley, accused of terrible things. It's right there in the files. Why is he not being investigated? And Leslie Wexner, why did the FBI list him as a co-conspirator in their own documents in a child sex trafficking case, and then tell him, according to him, that they had no questions for him? Why is that?
So we did an entire deep dive with Whitney Webb the other day here on the channel, all about Les Wexner and his deep ties to Jeffrey Epstein, of course, handing over his entire empire to Jeffrey Epstein for his control, power of attorney, his entire multi-billion-dollar network. Of course, the head of Abercrombie and Fitch and Victoria's Secret, and the list goes on and on and on, and is playing this sort of dumb billionaire role. Yet he was a financier and listed as a co-conspirator that, of course, Thomas Massie had to go to the Department of Justice and ask for that name to be redacted as a co-conspirator. Why was he barked? Why was he blocked? Why was he being protected by Pam Bondi's Department of Justice?
Ja, då måste jag tillägga då att de arresteringar som har gjorts i Europa, det handlar ju om ekonomiska affärer och ingenting om brott mot barn. Det sopar man bort under mattan, utan man fokuserar på ekonomiska oegentligheter, och det är ju samma i USA. Det här förhöret då med Lex Wexner, det togs ju inte upp någonting om att han har förgripit sig på barn, utan det handlar ju bara om svarta affärer när det gäller pengar.
Of course, if you ask questions, Dan Bongino doesn't want you to ask questions at all about this. So we should just protect all of these pedophiles, I guess, at the heart of it. That's what's happening.
Well, the Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the DOJ and the FBI to disclose to us their internal memos and emails about how they made those decisions, whether to prosecute or not prosecute. Yet they have not delivered those memos. And we still don't have the memos and documents and emails from 2008 to explain why Jeffrey Epstein was given such a light sentence in what would have been an open and shut case of child sex trafficking, which allowed him to go back and recommit these terrible crimes, create hundreds of more victims, and ensnare so many.
Of course, the reason we don't get any of that information, even though it's in the Epstein Transparency Act specifically, I mean, his bill signed by President Trump calls for the transparency of those, who authorized him to get a sweetheart deal where he had just like 6 months in prison, like work release prison for sexual abuse, and then released back to do it all again. And the moment he gets out, he starts building tunnels at little Jeffrey Epstein Island. Who authorized that? That's supposed to be a part of this. That was supposed to be released by the Department of Justice. And it's been silenced. Why won't you tell us who gave that authorization? Because, of course, there are significant intelligence ties. Did it come from Israel? Did it come from the CIA? It doesn't matter. They're one and the same. Mossad, the CIA. It doesn't matter. We know that he was. We know that he was an intelligence asset, 100% confirmed. We know that. Was he an agent? No, but he was an access agent, as CIA whistleblower John Kiriakou has stated. An access agent, meaning, he's not going to be carrying a badge, but because he has such access to billionaires and millionaires and all sorts of industry, that's how he became an intelligence asset. So is that the reason why we won't see who authorized this sweetheart deal? Of course. Is there any confusion about that at all?
Other people in his conspiracy. Where are those documents that describe those decisions? We need justice. We want the Department of Justice to get to work, and that's what they need to do now.
Oh, he didn't stop either.
I rise today to let the American people know that this government is under siege. All three branches of this government is under siege by lobbyists and lawyers from a German company named Bayer.
Ja, nu kommer han in på det här bekämpningsmedlet glyfosat som Trump har godkänt. Han har helt gått emot Robert Kennedy Jr. och Make America Healthy Again, den här rörelsen kallad MAHA. Så att han är helt i händerna på Israel och dessutom på sin stabschef, den här kvinnan som heter Susie Wiles, som får mycket pengar ifrån läkemedelsindustrin. Hon har säkert påverkat Trump att inte stämma Bayer och Monsanto för det här bekämpningsmedlet Roundup, utan här skriver Trump på en executive order som det heter, att friskriver dem från allt ansvar för alla cancerfall som har uppstått på grund av det här bekämpningsmedlet. Men vi kör vidare här med Thomas Massey.
And Susie Wiles, the most corrupt. Yeah, Susie Wiles is the cancer on the Trump administration inside the White House, the chief of staff. The reason that these Epstein files have been slow-walked, not being released, the reason that Pam Bondi is the head of the DOJ is because of Susie Wiles and her, of course, connections to the drug lobby industry.
They spent over $9 million lobbying the executive branch and the legislative branch so that they don't have to be liable for any damages that their herbicide causes, otherwise known as Roundup. And they're having some success. Now, they haven't had any success yet in this chamber to get that immunity. They've had some success in the state legislatures, which are also under siege, to get this immunity from liability. Look, the Constitution guarantees people a trial if they've been harmed. Why are we contemplating going against the Constitution? The Attorney General has opined favorably for this German company in front of the Supreme Court about getting rid of any liability that they should have for any damages. And the most recent thing that we've seen, the executive branch. By the way, the president's chief of staff and the president's attorney general worked for one of the biggest lobbying firms that's received hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars from Bayer.
Susie Wiles, who also worked for Benjamin Netanyahu. Get her out of the White House.
And maybe that's why we've seen an executive order that says that the production of this chemical from this German company is a national defense priority. And we know why they're doing that. It's to keep them from having any liability. Everybody in this country deserves their day in court. This is wrong. We shouldn't succumb to the lobbyists, not in the executive branch, not in the judicial branch, and certainly not here in Congress.
Unbelievable. So specifically, of course, talking about glyphosate, but the Supreme Court is about to decide on this case, which may give pesticide makers like this sweeping immunity, the same kind of immunity that we have for these drug manufacturers from the 1980s, where they don't have to ever see a day in court. Millions of people killed from a shot. You know what I'm talking about. Will they ever see their day in court? Doesn't look likely, because they have that immunity. They have this immunity carve out. So now we're going to give these pesticide manufacturers that very same immunity. And Pam Bondi sent an opinion into the Supreme Court defending this immunity. Like, I think, guys, we can all agree that these people are not on our side. These people are not on our side. They do not have our best interests at heart. And Susie Wiles in the White House, who has the president's ear and who is the gatekeeper inside that White House, has full control. Unbelievable. But Thomas Massey, one of the few American patriots, who actually trying to stand up for the American people. Go, Thomas. And that's why they want to destroy him 100%.
Ja, så har jag en kort video om just det här bekämpningsmedlet Roundup som Trump då mot Kennedys vilja vill tillåta i USA. Glyfosat. Här kommer den.
And next, President Trump has signed an executive order. He's declaring domestic production of glyphosate critical to national and food security. Now, this is the herbicide widely used in agriculture, and it's a key ingredient in Roundup. The chemical is described in the order as essential to maintaining crop yields and controlling costs. The decision comes despite criticism from the Make America Healthy Again movement, and they've raised concerns about glyphosate's potential health risks. Thousands of lawsuits nationwide allege the chemical causes cancer. Bayer, which produces Roundup, through its Monsanto subsidiary, denies those claims. The order also directs efforts to strengthen domestic production of elemental phosphorus, and that's a key component in both herbicides as well as military materials.
Ja, vem är då den här kvinnan som är stabschef i Vita huset, Susie Wiles, en korrupt kärring som inte har rent mjöl i påsen, men Trump lyssnar mer på henne än vad han lyssnar på sin hälsominister Robert Kennedy. Men här är en video som är 1 år gammal. Det var efter precis när Trump har vunnit valet och utser sin nya regering. Och det här är en plattform som heter Wretched Watchmen. Så man hittar hela tiden intressanta nya kanaler när man är inne på nätet. Den här killen verkar vettig. Jag har prenumererat på hans kanal och ska följa honom vidare. Men vi kör igång videon från hans kanal.
Now starting to come out is Trump is now starting to pick some of his administration people. And the latest pick, well, you know, we'll talk about her in just a second. Everybody's celebrating because, oh, look, he's not a misogynist. Oh, look, it's the first woman chief of staff and all that type of stuff. We'll take a look at her in just a second. But something that I talked about during his first administration that people didn't realize was he didn't drain the swamp. He actually added to it. Pretty much everybody that he added to his team were all part of the globalists and part of much bigger entities when it comes to the global agenda and all that stuff as well. And the excuse that I kept getting from people was he didn't know, he got bad advice. He just didn't understand that these people were all snakes and everything like that. Well, according to his recent pick now, do you guys still have the same excuse? He just doesn't know, or it was bad advice or something. I was told that in his second administration that he was going to have everything fixed. Apparently not. So in case you guys didn't see, Trump went on to select Susie Wiles as chief of staff. Of course, everybody's excited, making her the first woman in the post. See, he's not misogynist. He picked a woman for his chief of staff. This can't be bad in any type of way. No, this is great stuff. He's showing how diverse he is in his picks. Well, the only diversity that he's getting from his picks so far is he's still going for the globalists. So who is Susie Wiles? Well, first of all, she is a big pharmaceutical lobbyist. She's all wrapped up in that. She's also the co-chair of Mercury. Mercury is pretty interesting. You can see kind of a bio here. It says Susie Wiles is co-chair of Mercury's Florida and Washington, D.C. offices, veteran political strategist with more than 25 years of experience in political strategy, government relations, and public affairs. So she is a politician down to the core. She also served as lead advisor on multiple presidential, gubernatorial, and state campaigns, managed Rick Scott's and Ron DeSantis' campaigns for governor of Florida. I believe she was also the one that was dealing with Trump's presidential campaign this time as well. Yes, served as the Florida strategist for the 2016 and 2020 campaigns of Trump. Currently resides as chair of the Save America Pact, and she's also co-chair of Mercury. So who does Mercury, who do they represent?
Ja, han glömde att säga att hon hjälpte ju Netanyahu att bli omvald också i Israel. Så hon är ju sionist ut i fingerspetsarna. Och det han sa här att Trump av misstag hade tagit in massa skitstövlar i sin regering. Nej, det var ingen misstag, utan de som försvarar Trump då menar att han visste inte. Det här var medvetna val. Det var inte några misstag, utan han har valt sionister och globalister medvetet för att de ingår i den agendan som Trump har. Han är ingen riddare som kommer in på någon vit häst och räddar världen. Han är en del av det här träsket som han lovade att dränera.
The big pharma lobbyist. She's a politician to the core. She's involved with these people, as we can see. But co-chair Mercury, who do they represent? Some of the clients for Mercury include Gavi. Yes, that is Bill Gates's company that's all wrapped up in what they're doing in Africa with all the different injectables and all that type of stuff. Keep in mind that I showed during the Trump card video that Donald Trump proudly signed a deal with Gavi as well. So there's the Bill Gates connection as well. But her company represents Gavi, also represents Kaiser Permanente, the United Nations Foundation. But I thought Trump was against all the United Nations and the WEF and all that type of stuff. Well, he's got somebody who's partnered with them. The Ford Foundation, oh, that's always good. Pfizer, everybody knows Pfizer, right? Brought to you by Pfizer. Gilead, which is, of course, another pharmaceutical and all that type of medical stuff as well. That's great. And Tesla, of course, there's the Elon Musk connection. Of course, you can see they got 13 offices, 119 experts, 550 clients, and all that type of stuff. But those are some of the big ones that I saw that they represent. Pharmaceuticals, Elon Musk's company, medical, the United Nations, big pharma. Wow, this is good stuff. Now, if you guys don't know, Mercury is actually owned by a group called the Omnicom Group, which, if you guys don't know, Omnicom is a partner with the WEF as well, the World Economic Forum. So Omnicom, who is partnered with the WEF, owns Mercury, who represents a whole bunch of different pharmaceutical health companies and all that type of stuff, is co-chaired by the same person who is now going to be chief of staff of Trump's administration. Drain the swamp, baby. And again, I said it in his first administration, and I provided factual evidence and proof that he did not drain anything. He added to it. And so far, it's early, but it's going exactly as I thought it would. He is stacking the deck again with swamp creatures. Nothing has changed. The deception runs thick. And we're just seeing what's going on here. Great pick. Great pick. I don't know. I don't know what else can be said in order to show people the light when it comes to what's going on with the deception that's going on right in front of our eyes. Keep in mind, this is the same guy that is now being celebrated and in some churches worshipped, literally having hymns written after him to be sung in churches, worshiping this man, providing any excuse possible to try and find some way to get him off the hook when he's doing stuff just like this. Big Pharma, United Nations, World Economic Forum, apparently all the things that he's supposed to be against, he's now partnering with again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I got a bad feeling. Drain the swamp.
Ja, för ett år sedan så hade han en dålig känsla och det stämmer ju. Det har ju gått precis som han har befarat. Att Trump är inte en antiglobalist. Han är en globalist. Han är en del av gänget. Han är lite udda såklart. Men han är ändå i själ och hjärta på rätt sida. Vi är inte med i den här klubben utan Det är en rikemansklubb som han deltar i och de jobbar ju inte för folkets bästa. Det kan jag lova. Jag ska läsa lite också. Nu är det ju stor risk att Trump, för att distrahera oss då, att vi ska glömma bort de här Epstein-dokumenten, så kanske han sätter igång ett krig här med Iran. Och dessutom så har ju han sagt att han ska släppa alla dokument om UFOs och utomjordingar. Släpp dokumenten om Epstein istället. Och håll inte på och larva det med massa distraktioner. För det är bara frågan om att vända vår uppmärksamhet till någonting nytt. Och bort ifrån det han inte vill att vi ska titta på. Men Tucker Carlson gjorde ett sista försök här att, jag ska läsa ifrån Fria Tider. Tucker gjorde sista försök att stoppa kriget. Den konservativa kommentatorn Tucker Carlson försöker i sista stund övertala USAs president Trump att avstå från ett krig mot Iran. Det uppger juristen, poddaren och tidigare Fox-programledaren Andrew Napolitano. Jag tror att min vän och tidigare Fox-kollega Tucker Carlson är med presidenten i eftermiddag i ett sista försök att förmå honom att avstå från krig mot Iran, sa Napolitano under måndagen till TASS. Samtidigt konstaterar han uppgivet att det i praktiken redan är avgjort att det blir ett krig. Jag tror att det sionistiska trycket på Trump är så stort och den amerikanska militära uppladdningen där uppe är så omfattande och så kostsam att han kommer att känna att han måste trycka på avtryckaren. Frågan är inte om utan när. Den andra frågan är om det blir en serie mindre nålstick eller en fullskalig invasion utan marktrupper, säger han. Den 22 juni 2025 genomförde USA anfall mot iranska kärntekniska anläggningar i Isfahan, Natanz och Fordov. Även då uppgavs Tucker Carlson har försökt förmå Trump att inte attackera Iran, men förgäves. För det är ju Benjamin Netanyahu som bestämmer i det här fallet. Enligt Napolitano handlar en ny insats inte främst om kärnvapen som det påstås utåt. Det här med kärnvapen är en fasad, säger han. Han noterar att Israel och de amerikanska kretsar som aktivt stöder ett krig istället är intresserade av att störta regimen och installera en marionettregering. De bryr sig inte det minsta om demokrati, säger Napolitano. Iran och USA väntas mötas i Genève den 26 februari, alltså imorgon, för en ny samtalsrunda. Den amerikanska delegationen leds av presidentens särskilda sändebud Steve Witkoff och Trumps svärson Jared Kushner. Den 19 februari meddelade den amerikanska regeringen att Iran fått högst 15 dagar på sig räknat från det datumet att acceptera Israel och USAs krav. Israel och USA har sedan tidigare krävt att Iran avstår från att utveckla sitt kärnprogram, från att producera ballistiska robotar samt från att stödja Iranvänliga grupper i Mellanöstern. Iran har förklarat att man inte kan gå med på att avveckla sin försvarsförmåga och likt Syrien bli en permanent måltavla för israeliska flygattacker. Sen har det ju gått också 4 år nu sedan den militära specialoperationen mot Ukraina inleddes, som vår ljugmedia kallar en fullskalig invasion. De ljuger ju hela tiden. Putin har ju inte varit intresserad att ta över hela Ukraina. Han vill bara skydda de östra delarna där det finns rysktalande befolkning. Men jag ska läsa om en annan tokstolle och det är ju Finlands president, och det här är från Samnytt. Finlands president säger Putin är på väg att förlora kriget. Ja, man undrar ju vilken planet de här höjdarna lever på. Ryssland och inte minst dess president Putin håller på att förlora kriget i Ukraina. Det hävdar Finlands president Alexander Stubb. Under tisdagen har det gått 4 år sedan Rysslands storskaliga invasion av Ukraina. Med anledning av årsdagen är flera europeiska stats- och regeringschefer och andra makthavare på plats i Kiev för att visa Ukraina och den ukrainska presidenten Zelenskyjs sitt stöd. Sveriges, Norges och Danmarks statsministrar Ulf Kristersson, Jonas Gahr Støre och Mette Frederiksen har rest till den ukrainska huvudstaden tillsammans med tåg. Den drygt 10 timmar långa tågresan från Polen är i praktiken det enda ressättet för utländska potentater som besöker landet. 25 gånger fler ryssar dör. Utöver Kristersson, Gahr Støre och Fredriksen är även den finska presidenten Alexander Stubb på plats i Kiev. Och det är i samband med det besöket som han låter sig intervjuas av den danska dagstidningen Politiken. Under intervjun inpräntar Stubb det budskap som har blivit ett mantra i västvärlden sedan 2022. Putin är på väg att förlora kriget. De ryska förlustsiffrorna är inte hållbara för Ryssland. Under deras värsta dagar dör en ukrainsk soldat för var 25:e ryss. Faktum är att Ukraina är på väg att vinna kriget, säger han till Politiken. Alexander Stubb ger uttryck för den tolkning av kriget som är dominerande bland EUs stats- och regeringschefer. Enligt den har Ryssland misslyckats och situationen blir värre för varje dag. Strategiskt har det varit ett kolossalt misstag för Putin, vilket varken han eller ryssarna av förklarliga skäl vill erkänna. Dessutom har kriget varit ett militärt misstag, särskilt under de senaste månaderna, säger Alexander Stubb. Mer konkret talar Stubb om 3 punkter vilka påstås ha varit Putins strategiska mål med invasionen av Ukraina och som alla har misslyckats. 1. Att göra Ukraina ryskt. 2. Förhindra en NATO-utvidgning. 3. Motverka en europeisk upprustning. Men inget av dessa mål har uppnåtts. Ukraina är fortsatt ett självständigt land. NATO har utvidgats med Sverige och Finland som nya medlemmar och Europas länder har kraftigt ökat sina militärutgifter. Ebba Busch säger att Ukraina kommer att vinna. Medan statsminister Kristersson besöker Ukraina så stannar vice statsminister Ebba Busch kvar hemma i Sverige. På det sociala mediet X uttrycker hon att Ukrainas sak är vår. Bush upprepar budskapet om att Rysslands invasion av Ukraina för 4 år sedan var fullskalig och oprovocerad. Sverige och många länder i Europa har bistått med humanitärt och militärt stöd till Ukraina i flera omgångar. Sverige kommer att stödja Ukraina så länge som det krävs, skriver Bush och avslutar sitt inlägg. Ukraina kämpar för hela Europas frihet och en dag kommer Ukraina att gå vinnande ur kriget. Ja, de här idioterna, de kommer få ett drastiskt uppvaknande när deras ögon någon gång öppnar. Och om de nu någonsin öppnas. Men jag tror ju att en del vet ju att Ryssland kommer vinna, men av propagandaskäl så kör ju de med den här bluffen hela tiden. För det är svårt för EU och NATO att erkänna att de har förlorat spelet. Det är över och det är en tidsfråga bara. Ja, det var allt vad jag hade att komma med och önskar alla en god fortsättning på dagen och imorgon blir det också en förinspelad frukostklubb. Tack, hej då!